Symphony is one name that has been buzzing off late. In fact, the entire consumer durable pack has been doing well, but Symphony, one can say, is leading the way. 3.5% higher today as well. Let's welcome in the management. Achal, CMD at Symphony Limited, is now joining us on a phone line from Ahmedabad. Sir, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Could you just tell us about the demand scenario ahead of the hot season which is coming in? Do you expect this season to be better than the last year?
Well, it has been a bit of a late start. By now the temperature should have been higher than what they are. But we expect the coming months to be extremely, hot, and the season to be very good for us. Thank you.
Right. In terms of consumption demand, do you think demonetization will impact the demand?
The demonetization did impact the demand in the month of November, but from December onwards,
right. So, can you just repeat that? I think the audio dipped. You said demonetization did impact after that? Okay, I think there's a network issue over there. We'll just call back the management at Symphony. In terms of markets, let's just look at the top gainers right now and what's gaining on the market. It's been about the banking names and especially the PSU banking names. So Nifty is up 37 points. Bank of Baroda is the top gainer. It's up 3% right now, 167. ICICI Bank is doing well. It's up 2.7, and SBI is also up about 2%. So it's the banking space, especially the corporate banks, which have some issue in terms of NPA. ITC is up 1.3. GAIL is up 1.5%. Yes Bank on the back of the QIP probably is doing well. It's up 1%, and Axis Bank is also up about 1% or so. Hindalco is up 1%, 195. Off late, it's not done that well, but maybe it's trying to play a catch-up role now. And Bharti Airtel on the back of that acquisition is probably doing well, but it's a small acquisition. Power Grid is up about 1%. Aurobindo Pharma is up 0.7%, and Tata Steel is up close to about 0.6, 0.7%. So that's also a name which is doing well. BPCL is going ex-dividend today. Tech Mahindra is down 1%. Grasim has done well in the recent past, but it's now down about 0.7. ONGC is also among the top losers, and Maruti and Bharti Infratel are some of the other losers at this point of time. In terms of top 200 movers or mid-cap movers, let's look at some names. So REC is up about 4.5%. KEC is up about 7% at this point of time. These are probably two names that are doing well, and the aviation pack is also doing well. The management at Symphony is back with us. So if you could just again start with that answer. What do you expect in terms of demand after demonetization?
After demonetization, for an organized sector and a branded company like us, we expect the demand to be better than it was before, because 80% of, or about 75-80% of our industry is dominated by the unorganized sector, and we expect demonetization to sort of trigger a shift from the unorganized sector to the organized sector. So we are happy about demonetization.
Right. So in terms of consumer behavior, how have you seen? You've seen things getting back to normal?
Very much so. In fact, things have been back to normal, I would say, almost from December, within a month or so of demonetization.
Right. In terms of GST coming in, do you think it will further impact the unorganized players, which means a player like you could benefit out of GST as well?
Absolutely. It will create a level playing field. The unorganized sector, which has so far, escaped the tax net, will also sort of fall into it. And, so the gap between their prices and our market prices would narrow, and therefore further sort of give a boost to the, transition from unorganized to organized.
Right. Can you just tell us about the market share of the company? Despite severe competition, you've been able to maintain 45-50% plus market share?
Yes, we have, of the organized sector, and that's largely because of our continuous innovation, continuous new products that we introduce, and superior quality of service and the product quality and advertising and all of that. So it's a complete package, because of which despite competition, and we have competitors, more than 100 competitors in our category. Despite all of that, we retain 45-50% of the organized sector market share.
Right, but we are hearing that a lot of AC companies are now getting aggressive. Do you see a threat to the margins?
Not really. Our margins are not because of anything which is external. It's more because of internal factors. Again, like I said, because of our focus, because of our business model, because of the continuous innovation, the market sort of, we are able to command a premium over what our competitors are able to enjoy. Which is why our margins are better. So it's really more because of what we do internally, which benefits the consumer, that the consumer gives a premium for Symphony products.
Right. I just wanted to understand, sir, every time this argument comes up, whenever there is AC price cuts or, AC market becomes aggressive, that, what sort of impact will it have on Symphony? Can you just tell us that the competition is not from the AC players? What essentially has been your sense over the years?
Well, the AC, the price of owning an AC may go down, but the energy consumption of an AC is far greater than that of an air cooler. So an AC consumes 10 times as much electricity as an air cooler does, especially a Symphony air cooler, which are very, very energy efficient. So the total cost of ownership of a cooler, regardless of anything, is always going to be substantially lower than that of an AC. And the Indian consumer is very conscious of recurring costs. And in fact more sensitive to recurring cost than the cost of the initial purchase. So all said and done, regardless of where AC prices head, the cooler category, especially Symphony, will remain unaffected.
Right, and also you can say that once people upgrade to AC, there will be also a lot of people who will upgrade to coolers.
Absolutely, there are fans, there are ACs, then there are air coolers, and there are air conditioners. And again, if someone upgrades from a cooler to an AC, he's probably putting an AC in his bedroom, but it's his living room or his kids' bedroom will still have an air cooler. They will still have an air cooler for the veranda or the balcony. And of course, there are people who are graduating from fans to air coolers. So the market potential is huge. Even today, there are more air coolers being sold in the country than air conditioners. Of course, in terms of value, it's a much lower priced product. So the total size of the market in terms of value is smaller than air conditioners. But in terms of absolute numbers, it is much greater.
Right. Also, you could just tell us that, what's happening in terms of competition. Competition has always been high, but you see no risk to margins?
No, like I said before, regardless of competition, Symphony has been able to enjoy the margins that it does because of its features, because of its superior quality, because of its superior after-sales service, and because of continuous innovation. Our products are very different. The competition basically copies what Symphony does with a time lag of maybe a couple of years, and by which time Symphony is on to the next thing. So there is always something different for the consumer that Symphony offers every summer, and it is that the continuous cycle of innovation which keeps Symphony ahead of the curve.
Right. In terms of your talks with your wholesalers, your dealers, what is the sense that you get? Are they ready for the rollout of GST or going under the ambit of GST? What is the sort of inventory that they are asking for ahead of the summer season?
The thing is that fortunately GST is likely to be implemented from 1st July, by which the bulk of the summer would be over. So at that time, inventory levels should be, with the channel should be at the minimum. So GST wouldn't really have a major impact. But again, we'll have to sort of cross the bridge when we come to it. At the moment, we are not even thinking that far. We have the whole summer, the bulk of the summer ahead of us between now and GST. So we are focused on making the most of that.
Right. In terms of export market, you've just recently entered. The growth rate has been very high over there. Is that also the focus for the company?
Did you say the export market?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, very much so. It has been a focus for Symphony for many years now, and we export to over 60 countries worldwide, and there are many countries where air coolers were never known till Symphony introduced the category, and there are countries where Symphony is among the top 20 brands in that country, or is dominates the air cooler space. And there are of course countries where we have barely sort of scratched the surface, we have barely seeded the market then there is a lot of upside, in those. Now, all said and done, export still contributes, maybe about 25% of our 20% of our total sales, and so there is, huge room for growth, over there, but there are 200 countries over there, so any day the total export sales, logically speaking, should be more than what we can sell in one country, namely India, and that day will also come. We are steadily working towards that, and a few years down the road, we would like to see a time when we export more than we sell in India.
Right. So I just wanted to understand that once, your export ratio increases, right now, of course, it's less than 10%, but as it grows towards the 30% mark, 40% mark, you think the volatility in earnings will also reduce? There will be nothing like a summer season for the company, because somewhere in the world there would be summer season where you have decent market share?
In a sense, yes. However, even, within the country, we have managed to even out the volatility. We've managed to even out the seasonality through, various measures. So even in the off season, our sales is pretty much as high as we do in the season. So we have managed to even out the seasonality, but of course, exports will be a sort of you can call it as a cushion or whatever. Would help in further sort of evening out those seasonal spikes.
Right. So thank you so much for taking out time for us. Always good to get a perspective from you. That was the management at Symphony expecting a better summer season than what the industry did last year. On that note, taking a break, coming back in 2 minutes, Ajay Srivastava of